Hi, Erika. Welcome to the Chaotic Podcast.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Yeah, so excited to sit down and chat with you today. So, can you just tell me a little bit about yourself? Tell our audience.
My name is Erika Smithson. I'm a third year BMOS student at Western. I'm studying consumer behavior. I was the spring show creative director for FLS this year. And yeah, it was really fun. The show was like a week ago.
That is so cool. I actually am like just learning about FLS. So, can you tell me a little bit about it? I know it's Fashion and Lifestyle Society,
Yeah,
right?
so FLS stands for the Fashion and Lifestyle Society, and we're just like a fashion club. We're a social club as well. So we do like a lot of outings. We have sort of like three big main events throughout the year. So we have our fall show, which is usually like near the end of November. We have our spring show, which is like early to mid March, and then we have our Volta magazine, which is like coming out, I think, around April. And yeah, it's just really fun. Like we have a whole bunch of different teams. It's a very creative club. So like I feel like there's if you're a creative, there's a place for everyone there. Like there's like photography, modeling, like with Volta, you get to they have different creative directors for the shoots and stuff. It's just like a really fun social club. You meet a lot of cool people there. Everyone's really nice.
That's so
Yeah,
cool.
it's really fun.
And you started last year,
I started last year, yeah.
right? And you were telling me earlier, an assistant position?
Yeah, I was the assistant director for the fall show
Right.
last year.
And then how did that like transcend into being a creative
I,
director for this year? Was that like a big jump? Were you
I just applied.
Oh, so it's like an application.
Yeah.
You apply. Oh my gosh, were you really excited when you got it?
I was, I
Yeah.
was. I was so like I really wanted it because it was such a like watching, like as assistant director, you watch the creative directors do it and you're like, oh my God, this is so fun. Like I want to do the same thing too. You like write down all these ideas. I spent like an hour writing my application and then you send it in. And it takes like, like a month or two to hear back and it's just like suspense. And then I finally got it and it was so fun because like a lot of my friends were on the team too, because we got it sent a list with like everyone's name. So it was
Oh
really
my God,
fun.
that's really fun. So you
Yeah,
guys
it
get
was
to
really
like all
exciting.
work together.
Yeah, it's really fun.
That's so cool. And then the recent fashion show you just had was the House of Horrors, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Can you tell me a little bit about that and how did that theme even like come about?
So when I applied in the summer, I had to like say what theme I wanted to do. So I didn't really have a preference to do spring or fall show, so I applied to both, and I had like two different ideas. For the spring, I wanted to do House of Horrors, and like I kind of just like I don't know, I just came up with the name on the spot because like I didn't really know what else
I
to
love
call it,
that.
but I
It's a
sort of kept
great
it, so I was
name.
like, okay, we'll leave it.
Yeah.
But like I don't know, I've just always like loved horror movies and stuff like that. Like it's like big passion of mine, just like horror movies. Like when I was 10, my favorite movie was Poltergeist. Like
Oh
it's,
my God, really?
it,
As someone who hates horror movies, this is so funny to talk about because like I cannot sit through a horror
I
movie.
think it's really fun. It's like
Yeah,
they're super theatrical. Like I don't know. I just think it's
it's
if you're
true.
watching a movie and you're like, oh, it's just theater. Like it's really funny.
Okay, that's what my roommate always says to me when we talk about maybe watching a horror movie. She's like, you just have to picture like all the cameras and stuff around it, like it's just being filmed. It's not real. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I know, but it freaks me out. But I was looking through the highlights of the House of Horrors show, and like it was so theatrical, like you said. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't like it was just really cool, and it was like
Yeah.
different and so unique
I thought
and
it was pretty campy. Like the
very campy.
the
Yeah,
designers did really really well. They were
they
so
did.
awesome. Like they're such a great team. And like I've never like worked with teams this big before, and it went really well. Like everyone was really really sweet, really nice.
And everyone is so talented. Like I was looking at the looks and like
Yeah.
they're so intricate. I don't know. I don't know. So talented. I don't know how people come up with that.
Yeah, it went really well.
So you're happy with how everything went?
I am more than happy with how
Feeling
everything
so
went.
satisfied? Oh my gosh, that's awesome. That must be like so like fulfilling. Like you did such a
Yeah.
big thing.
Yeah, it was.
That's
It was
so
really good.
cool. Okay, well I have some questions to ask you, but I don't have them memorized. So I guess we already kind of talked about what inspired your recent fashion show, which was like your love for horror movies as a kid and like
Yeah.
your passion for that. But I guess my question is, what story were you hoping to tell through that theme? Like, what were you trying to convey to your
Yeah,
audience?
so there were like sort of three main themes I wanted to go through. So like in your childhood, you like read all these fairy tales. Like there was a Hansel and Gretel. We had like Pinocchio. wish I had a list of that. Let me get the list of the names
Yeah,
out
do it,
real
girl.
quick because there were just so many. But like, and then in our adolescence, you know, it's like myths and like legends that you hear. Like, you know, you sort of start reading those like more fantasy books, and they have like like the mermaid sirens.
I was just
and
about to say, like, I
yeah,
loved mermaids as a kid, but even that is like super mythical and can be kind of like horror if you
yeah.
make it that way.
No, it was really like, and like gargoyles. We had, what else do we have? Like, have you seen like Alien? The movie? We had one look inspired by that, which was what was so cool.
I
Like,
think I saw there was like some really good special effects makeup going on there.
yeah, the special
That was
effects makeup
insane.
was insane. And like, yeah, like vampires in your adolescence, stuff like that. And then there's, you know, real life horrors. Like that's what Rave Girl was based off of. And, you know, that one is just like people go too hard in their 20s and then, you know, they get sort of hooked onto those party drugs that can overtake your life, which is like kind of like melodramatic, but like it's still scary. And then like botched burlesque, that was one. Because you know, like plastic surgery like can get really insane sometimes, and that can be, I don't know, I think
Scary.
like a sort of societal scary
Yeah.
thing. And then yeah, like our closing look was a Celtic witch, and it was like an ode to paganism, just because in our Western society, just like a lot of our myths, legends, fairy tales are based off of like things that are derived from paganism. So I thought, I don't know, we were like really struggling to come up with a 20th look, and I was just like, okay, well, like that actually makes sense.
It does make sense, and it's super cool. I feel like making it like an ode as well is like a really good closing
Yeah,
to kind
and
of, it's like a full circle.
that was definitely one of my favorite looks. It was so beautiful, like
Yeah.
so stunning.
Oh my gosh, that is awesome. Wow, that's so cool. So my next question for you is if you could walk us through your creative process and how you collaborate with your team to bring that collection to life.
Yeah, so what we did really was I created a designer guide. I just went like on Google Slides and I made a whole bunch of Pinterest boards of just like what I sort of envisioned the looks to be like. And you know, like I'd sort of curated that on the slides, you know, like, oh, I'd really like, I think this detail is really cool. And I really explained the meaning of each look. I tried to like explain as much as possible. Like, for example, the Pinocchio look. His story was that Pinocchio like wants to be a real boy, and I guess in our version, he stole someone's face and decided to. But that's what the mask was. That's why he was sort of looking
Oh,
into the audience and all that.
yes.
Because you know he stole someone's face. Now
Yeah.
he's pretending to be a real boy. And I think the designers and the makeup artists really landed that one. Like that was really cool. But yeah, just like writing it out, and then I tried to go to as many meetings as I could. You know,
Yeah,
just sort of like
definitely.
answer as many questions. But yeah, like I just thought I tried to like
Communicate as much
yeah,
as you could.
like pictures as well as like the story of it. Like because I know everyone has different learning styles. So, like I tried to, you know,
Like accommodate to everybody.
yeah.
I feel like that's super important because, like you said, you were more of a visual learner, right? So, yeah, I feel like either putting out as many photos as you can so people can see the look and the vibe you're trying to go for, or you're like writing out all the tiny details for people who need to like read instructions, and then
Yeah.
you're like actually showing up to the meeting so you
Yeah.
can like answer questions. Yeah, just like it sounds like it was a lot of
Definitely.
communication
Yeah.
and just like you worked really hard to like put your vision onto paper as much as you could so that
Yeah.
everybody could see what you were going for.
Yeah, definitely. I also wanted to like give a lot of people creative freedom. So I tried to get the concept down, but not like, oh, everything has to be like specifically
Just
like
like
this, specifically
this.
that. Because
Yeah.
like the team's hired for a reason. Like they're all like a group of very creative people, and I think like it just went really well. Like if you like look at the oil spill siren's hair, it's like it has like these rainbow flakes in it, and that's supposed to be like, you know, the oil spill part.
oil.
And I never even like thought of something like that. I thought it was so cool. So just like, I don't know, like it's nice knowing you have like a really good team that you can like,
Yeah, that's
you know,
awesome.
put
And you
the
can kind of
creative
give them
trust
like
in.
the guidelines, but then let them run with it. And
Yeah.
I feel like that's when the best products will come
Yeah,
out.
it was a really really great team.
That's awesome. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
Well, my next question for you is, as a creative director, how do you balance your artistic vision with the like practical demands of the fashion industry?
I just tried to like not like write down or try to think of anything too complicated, just because like we're all like busy students, we all have our degrees that we're working on, and I just like I don't know, I tried to make it as realistic as possible while still being super whimsical, and I think it worked really well. Like we sourced a lot of things, like we didn't buy everything new, like we had like thrift trips to like I think Goodwill was one of our sponsors for the fall show. And, we were able to go there and get, I think, like discounted fabric and all that. So that was really helpful as
That's
well.
awesome.
Yeah, it made it like very feasible financially.
Yeah, that's super cool. And I also feel like that kind of just throws in, not the theme, but kind of just throws in the whole like sustainability aspect
Yeah.
of it too. Like the fact that you were able to go thrifting for some of the looks just shows how you can like repurpose items and make it into something
Yeah.
entirely new, which is so cool.
Yeah, I thought that was
And then
pretty cool.
also, I guess, how did you also balance like being a creative director and then also being like a busy student as well?
It was a little difficult.
Tried your best.
Yeah, just because I also work, but like, I don't know, just
Yeah.
like designating time to like work on it. And like, I don't know, anytime I had free time, like I just found myself working on it anyways because I wanted to. I feel like since I had like, felt like passionate about it, it didn't really feel like work. So it's like,
Definitely.
yeah, it was pretty balanced. It worked
And
well.
that's how you know you're doing like the best thing is when you want to work on it
Yeah.
because you're passionate about it. That's like the best feeling ever.
Yeah, it was fun.
Awesome. Oh, my phone locked on me. I like this question. So, how do you see fashion as a form of storytelling, and what cultural impact do you hope that your work has? I know you said you wanted to go into the marketing and fashion industry.
Um, could you repeat it?
Yeah. Sorry, that was a long question. We'll break it up. How do you see fashion as a form of storytelling?
As a form of storytelling, I feel like you can just tell a lot about a person by like what they wear. I think it could be a really good reflection of who people are as a person. Like my sister, for example, like she's really gotten into like super crazy, colorful, like sort of like rave girl look. Like she like has these huge fuzzy green boots that like make her like 7 feet tall, and I don't know. I think like that, for example, you could tell so much about a person. Like you could tell their creativity and just like you could just like tell if someone's like a more chill person or more eccentric, and I think that can sort of story tell of like who someone is as a person. But like I think through fashion and stuff, storytelling, just like people can interpret like the shapes of things in certain ways. I feel like there's collective looks and just like symbolism in looks that can tell a story. I guess like through like I don't know if you like, I don't really know where I'm trying to go here, but like
No, I totally get what you're saying. And even you guys going to Goodwill and going to the thrift stores and repurposing like vintage or old items is also kind of a story in itself because the pieces you use already had a story, which is something. No, I know I'm like trying not to get too close. I'm trying not to make any weird sounds. The pieces that you use already kind of have a story, and then you guys are completely making it into something new and giving it a new story, which is a story in itself, if that makes
honestly,
sense.
I think like I know I keep bringing this up, like the rave girl look, like for the show as well. She had like a lamp shade, and like when you say that, I don't know, I think it's cute. Like that was probably just like in someone's home is like their little lamp, and like now it's like a super cool like piece to sort of add to the look. And I think that also speaks to the character of the look itself, just because it was based off of like New York club kids and how eccentric their looks were and how much like creativity they put into their looks. And I think just like even reusing like a repurposed lampshade and making it look super cool, and like I think it was supposed to be a hat, but it just kept falling off the models, so we just had her hold it as a person, which worked amazing too.
Yeah.
But like just stuff like that, like it speaks to the character as well.
And even there's so much storytelling in each of like the mythical creatures, right? Like they all have their like own legends and theories and like stories and historical origins and all that stuff that like people might align with or like might feel nostalgic about if it connects to their childhood or something.
Definitely.
So I feel like there's just like a lot of stories buried within that House of Horrors theme.
Yeah, and like a lot of the smaller details, like it's not obvious, but you know, like when you, I guess, like read the designer guide, you're like, oh wow, like that actually manifested really well. Like in general, the show is supposed to be centered sort of around Gothic architecture. And I guess like one thing I asked of the designers, I was like, oh, if you're ever stuck, just like look at pictures of like Gothic buildings and sort of, you know, the shapes that are done there. Because I think it's like so beautiful, like some of the most beautiful architecture I've ever seen. But like with the gargoyle look specifically, the green in the wings. So gargoyles, like historically, they were made to sort of protect like the churches and buildings. I don't know if it was churches, but like buildings they were put on. So they're supposed to be like, I don't know, like protective symbols or whatever. And a lot of these buildings, like they incorporated stained glass into it, you know, because it's very like Gothic, and that's what
Right.
the green on the wings were. It's supposed to be sort of representative of like the
Oh my
stained glass and like
God.
the Gothic buildings that they were like put on.
That is so cool. And also, like, wow, I keep building on this conversation, like with the stories, because it's so cool. Like, you just talked about connecting architecture with fashion. And it's like, that's so funny how those two completely different, like, creatives can just blend and fuse together.
Yeah, definitely. I think they work really
Right?
well together too.
Yeah, that is so cool. And I love that that was kind of like almost a guiding factor of you to tell the designers, like, if you ever get stuck, look at architecture. Don't look at more fashion. Like, see what you get inspired from, like,
Yeah.
different kinds of art in
I
the
just
world,
think
right?
the patterns and like the stone are really beautiful.
That's so cool. Wow. And then, okay, the second part of that question, because it was way too long at first, was what cultural impact do you hope that your work has?
Um, like I guess sort of the creativity of the show. Like this was our second designed show ever. Like last year, the first like for like this like again, FLS, I think we've only been around for like 10, 15 years, something like that. The very first like fully hand designed show was last year. It was toys.
Oh, wow.
And that one was really cool. And so I think they decided that they wanted the spring shows just in general to be hand designed. And so like this being the second design show, like logistically, like we're still like working out some kinks here and there, like, you know, the timing of when everything had to be done. And they like pulled it together like really well. Like everything went really well. All the looks were like done in time and all of that. But I think just like in the club itself, like it just sort of like one of the like the one someone on the core team, like Daisy, she said that it sort of really like defined ish what like it helped really stamp down like what a design show is meant to be if like for FLS, just because like, you know, second time you do it, it's just sort of like, okay, like we sort of know what to do now.
Definitely.
Yeah, so I think that like definitely left an impact on the club, like in you know
Oh, I'm
the culture
sure.
within the club. Like it's more established, I want to say.
Yeah, I feel like you got, like, especially last year being the first year, it was very much like trial and error. You're really figuring it out, kind of going in blindly. And even this year, I'm sure it was a bunch of trial and error. But I feel like the more you do it, the more maybe you solidify it a bit and like laid out that
Yeah,
foundation.
I didn't work on the spring show last year. I know it went really well.
Oh, yeah.
The looks turned out amazing. But like I don't know, I think that's just like you know the second time you do something in general, it just really solidifies like, okay, this is like the spring show is design show every year. You know what I mean? So I think that left an impact on the club. Like the local
Definitely, I'm
culture.
sure. Um, what do I want to ask you? Okay. So, what are your thoughts on the future of fashion, and particularly in terms of sustainability and technological advancements?
I think that people are like repurposing a lot of older items now. Like, you know, you see people online, they're making like crazy accessories out of like old computer parts and stuff like that. Like, I think repurposing things that just don't get used anymore, just like in general, anything, like any old item you find in a thrift store, you could turn into something fashionable, in my opinion. I think people are just really like, you know, recycling things that you know have like a beautiful element to it and then like adding their own creative twist to it and making something beautiful out of that. Like, at least I think in the more like DIY side of it, I think people are getting really, really creative with like non-conventional items, and I think we're definitely going to see a lot of that. Um, yeah, I think that that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, I totally agree. I love, this is super random, but I love those videos on TikTok where people are like thrift finds that are now in my home, and they go and they find things at thrift stores, whether it's like a picture frame, but they turn it into like a tray for their coffee table,
Yeah,
or like they just, I've seen like so many creative people, like you said, they find something in a thrift store that has like a beautiful element to it, and they're like, oh, that could work in my home. And like, it's whether they paint it different color or whether they like add their own twist to it, and then suddenly it looks like so beautiful in their
yeah,
home. And I'm like,
definitely.
I kind of can't wait to have my own place one day where I can like
Yeah,
fill it with little things that I find thrifted and just like
yeah.
make it super like eclectic and unique in my
Yeah.
own. I think that's super, like, I think it's a huge thing for interior design as well, but then also obviously for fashion.
Yeah, like upcycling in general, I think it's really cool, and I think people are doing that a lot more, at least from what I've noticed.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I would think so too. And we love to see it. We
Yeah.
love to see it. My next question for you is, looking back on your journey as creative director, what personal insights or career advice would you share with any aspiring, designers, anybody who wants to be in a creative director role or just get into the industry?
Um, just like don't be afraid to like put what you like really want to do like out there. Like I know for a couple of things I was like, oh, like maybe people won't like this, but then I had to tell myself like, no, like it's fine. And then people did like it. So I think like I don't know, getting like sort of imposter syndrome is like really common, I guess. 'Cause like I don't know, like this is like only my second year in the club. Like yeah, I have friends there, but like I don't know like everyone, you know what I mean? And
Right.
like now I do because like I've done the role. But when I started, I was like kind of shy. But like I don't know, I think people like like a core team like Reet, Zoe, and Daisy, like they hire you for a reason, because they're like confident in what you can do,
They see
and
something in you.
yeah,
Yeah.
and they like your ideas and all that. And so I think if you just like stay true to like what you want to do, like usually like people are really receptive to it.
Definitely. Yeah, I think the whole especially in fashion or in like any creative industry, when you think about, oh, people won't like this, it's like, well, that's kind of the point, is you want to bring
Yeah.
something that people maybe have never seen before or never thought before, and like your mind is so creative, and like that's what's gonna
Yeah.
make like add something to the industry. If you're just reproducing and repurposing what's already been done, it's not as effective as when you come up with these new ideas and you go for it, even if people might not like it, but it'll definitely
Yeah.
be a statement in some way, right?
Yeah, it was definitely really fun doing that. And then just like the sort of administrative side of it, like if you think it's too early, you're right on time. Like if you're doing something you think it's
Oh,
way too early, you are right on time.
I like
Because
that.
anytime I thought I was like, oh, like this is the right time to do, I'm like, wait, I should have done that a week ago. So
Okay.
like I think like planning to allow room for error is like a big one as well.
Definitely.
Yeah,
That
like
makes
it like
sense.
saves you a lot of stress, then you can focus more on the creativity of
Oh, that is really good advice. I feel like I'm gonna take that in like my personal life too, honestly. Yeah, I love that. And then, okay, my last question. Oh, did I just delete all my questions? No, I didn't. Thank God. Oh, not last question. Second last question. Can you share with us any behind the scenes moments or challenges from the House of Horrors show that stood out to you?
Like on show day.
On show day, leading up to show day, anything, like any
Um,
challenges, anything that really stood out to you?
Probably like again like probably like planning to allow room for error, just like coordination of getting things done, because like we had to get a couple rentals on that day, and like luckily we were able to get like the draping and the carpet delivered, but like I had to go pick up the lights myself because like I don't know, you can't get it the day before, otherwise you have to like pay double for it. So
Oh,
just like yeah, like logistically, um that was like slightly stressful. um but like sorry, what was like the question again?
yeah, just any challenges or like super significant moments that stood out to you from behind
Challenges,
the
yeah, would
scenes.
definitely be like scheduling timing to pick things up. Because like I kind of missed the first like dress rehearsal of them all walking through, and I was like, no, I missed it.
Yeah.
Like everything turned out well in the end, but it was like a little bit stressful for a moment. So I think like yeah, just like focusing a lot on like the organization of like who's gonna pick things up and you know like what can we do before show day. Just like again like planning to allow room for error because like
Definitely.
every once in a while like something messy does happen. Like luckily nothing really like went bad on show day.
Yeah.
Everything went really well. And like good moments, I would say just like I don't know, everyone coming together. Like everyone on the team was really, really genuine. Like
That's
all the
great.
models, all of the designers, everyone helping out. Like everyone really cared about it, and I think that was really, really awesome. That was just like I don't know, it's just like a nice moment. Everyone coming together, being really happy to like work on something like you know just see the final product of something that we all worked really hard on for a while. It was just I don't know, it's just really fun.
Definitely.
Yeah,
That must have been so amazing to have everyone so passionate about it.
yeah, it was really great.
Yeah, that's and I didn't even think about the whole like logistic side in a way of like where the challenges would come from, almost like setting up the set, like the drapes and the lighting,
Yeah,
and
yeah, we did.
that aspect completely left my mind. I didn't even think about
Yeah,
that.
we hired a set design team this year just because like I didn't want anything to go wrong. And I'm so glad we did because just like having like you know the extra 5 people there like and especially my roommate too like like we hired him for set design as well and like he was so helpful throughout the entire day
Definitely.
like just like I don't know, just again like having people that really care and like you know the more the merrier so
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah
Because it's a
like
social club as well
yeah
too.
it's
So
a
you're just
social
like always
club
inviting people in, and
yeah
there's
there's
gonna be a place for everybody there.
yeah and so like having everyone like set up the set like I don't know just everyone had something to do on show day and it was like I don't know, everyone cared. It was really nice.
Definitely. And it's like you're part of something bigger, which is really nice and really special.
Yeah, it was fun.
Was it the first year having a set team? Like, because you brought
Yeah.
on extra few
Yeah,
people?
we didn't have I think like last year or like even before like we just had team members helping out like when people had downtime like we've like I wasn't there for spring show but fall show last year we just like had team members you know setting stuff up and all that like like the directors like stylists when they weren't styling people hair and makeup when they weren't styling people like you know people's boyfriends coming to help out.
Yeah. Anyone you could get, right?
Yeah, anyone
Yeah,
can get, but like I don't know, having like an actual set design team this year, like I'm hoping we do that again next year.
definitely. Having
Yeah,
a few people like just designated for that
yeah,
area.
yeah,
Probably a huge stress relief.
yeah. They were
Yeah.
really great too. Yeah.
That's awesome. Oh, I love that.
Mhm.
And I have one more question for you, which is what innovations in fashion excite you the We'll do it in two parts again because I don't want it to get too long and
Okay.
weird. So, what innovations in fashion excite you the most right now? Because I know it's constantly changing.
Innovations in fashion. Um, honestly, like I don't know if this is like directly related to fashion, but I feel like they're allowing models to have personalities again, and it's like it's adding a lot more personality in general to the clothing as well.
Definitely,
Like
that
I feel
totally has to do
like
with fashion.
yeah, I feel like people are at least like in like my friend group in my realm like people are paying attention to high fashion like quite a bit more now because you know they're letting the models speak and it's nice to I don't know like you see clothing you're like oh my gosh like Alex Consani for like example like I love her I think she's so cool and she just like allowing personality to go into the clothing as well I think like that's something I'm really excited for in fashion as well that's what I wanted to like incorporate into the show and like the models did an amazing job like
Definitely.
our model managers PJ and Harth like they picked really really good models this year and they were models themselves like they were Hansel and Gretel.
Oh, no way.
Yeah,
That's so
it
fun.
was really cute. But yeah, just like giving personality to clothing, I feel like that's coming back now.
I totally agree. And I do think it's really important and totally connects to fashion because I feel like for a really long time and still today in high fashion, there's like this idea that, the model's literally just supposed to be a mannequin that
Yeah,
displays the clothes and wears the clothes, which I understand. But the people who are buying the clothes are
yeah,
just like
yeah,
regular people with personality and so seeing models now have personality, you can kind of almost
yeah.
like see yourself more
Exactly.
in the
Yeah,
models and you're like, okay, well, they're real people who just wear clothes and that almost makes you want to buy them more, or it
yeah,
makes
definitely.
the consumer like be able to see themselves
Yeah, or like
wearing the
who they
clothes
want to
more.
be.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. So I think that totally makes sense, and absolutely the models have a huge connection to fashion. And the second part of that question was, what aspirations do you have for the industry moving forward?
The industry moving forward, just like allowing the creatives to do whatever they want. Like I think, like one of my favorite, like, you know, just sort of like more up, like high fashion designers, like I love Moschino. I think they're awesome just because they're so like themselves. Like I love when brands have, again, like a personality. Like they do what they want to do unapologetically, and they do it well. And I think just like a lot of creativity is going back, like what you said, like people aren't mannequins, like they personality needs to go into clothing, and I think having a designer's true self like reflect onto that, I think is really cool.
Definitely. I love brands or designers when there's just like a certain element in the clothes where you can just tell that it's theirs, or they have this certain pattern or thing that they do that just sets them apart. And like that's what makes a brand, I think. Like the personality and the voice, like you said.
So I think like hopefully like there's a lot of that in the future, which I think there is.
I think
even right now,
I think there's a lot, especially with like small businesses and designers coming up. Like I think everyone has very unique and original ideas, and like it's becoming very popular nowadays to like let your personality and your brand like shine through.
Yeah, I think that would be really awesome.
I think so too. And what about for you, for yourself? Any like next steps in the industry for you, or where you're hoping to end up, what you want to do next?
Like I definitely want to end up doing marketing in the fashion industry. I think that'd be really fun to just like do all the behind the scenes things. And you know, just like being able to, you know, like advertisements and stuff like that, putting personality into the advertisements and all that. You know, just finding out what people want and what inspires people to buy clothing. Like that's definitely what I want to do in the future. But for now, you know, I'm just gonna keep serving and working on my degree. Yeah.
I love that for you. I love that so much. And do you, because I know you're in third year, would you do FLS again next year?
Yeah, I really want to.
Yes, absolutely. That's so exciting. Of course.
I don't know what role, but that's the later
how
problem.
does that go? Do you just like reapply for any roles that interest you?
Yeah, so in the summer, our applications usually come out, I want to say in July, usually, maybe June. I think it was July, maybe June last year when I applied. And then you sort of find out like late July, early August. But yeah, so like all of our like VP team, what do you call it, positions come out then, and then you know you just apply in the summer, and then you know if you get hired, you do like a little onboarding near the end of August, and then when you know Clubs Week starts in September, then you know we're like recruiting like our models, our hair and makeup artists, photographers, like graphic designers for Volta, writers for Volta, creative directors for the Volta shoots, like all that.
Oh, there's so many positions.
So many.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. If anyone wants to apply, right? What would you say to anybody who wants to apply or is considering it, or maybe never thought about it before?
There is a place for everyone in that club. If you just like want to be in that environment, it's a really good environment. Everyone's really nice. There's a place for everyone.
I love that. That's so exciting. Well, you heard it here first. Those are all the details about applying. Thank you so much for sitting down with me today and chatting.
For having me.
Yeah, it was so nice to meet you, Erika. Thank you so much for sharing. I feel like the show was literally amazing, and it was so cool. And I cannot even begin to imagine like all of the hard work and just passion that went into it. Like everybody has to be so passionate about their roles to make it the final product that it was.
The designers was like, so good.
Insane. I was genuinely taken aback. Like I had no words. I was like, how do people come up with this? It's genius, and it's so creative down to like the teeny tiny details.
Yeah, like
so cool.
Even the Flesh Fairy look, everything was crocheted. Like hand crocheted.
Like that in itself. Like, what do you mean? Like people, they're so dedicated to the craft. I love it so much. And I cannot wait to see what else FLS does, because I think it'll be awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited for next year.
Yeah, right? Well, thank you again so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks, and thanks for joining us.